Good rising, everyone. So it's June 7th, 2024. It's 5:42 a.m. And like I said, this spiritual warfare thing. For me, the root cause has been past relationships. And so today I'm being woke up because as I stated before, the Masons are the ones that's behind a lot of this. The guy that I met after I separated from my ex, he gave me his Mason signs to show me he was a Mason. And at that time, I knew nothing about Masons, about the men. Every time I did research online, when I looked up Masons, I knew about how they wrote the Bible. I knew about a lot of their their lodges and everything, but I did not know that they were black men that were Masons, and that's the truth. And so the main thing that I see, some of them, not all of them, but I believe maybe the ones that are more street smart, I'll say, than they are intellectual. They are the ones that have they have gold. You'll see them wearing a lot of gold. But the signs were all there. I kept seeing the 1212, the 222, and like right now, I see a lot of 666. I haven't ever seen this in my entire life, the 666. I haven't ever caught those numbers before. But 1212, I've seen that. I remember seeing that when I was a child. And so for now, it's like I get the 666, I get the 222, I get the 1212, but I get the 444 a lot too. And so now I'm being woke up. And now they're saying I have to choose between my ex or choose between him. And I have to pick one of them. And when I first met that guy, that day, we had a conversation, and it was like, I thought that he was very, I felt like he had a lot of knowledge based off of experience in life. So he was kind of like just giving me about my situation with my ex and just telling me, well, it seems like a lot what you're going through is feelings, is your feelings on how you feel, but is it actually true? So it seems like he was on his side. It seems like they teamed up against me. Like my ex was trying to set me up with him to see what would happen. I know my ex didn't want to pay child support. I know that's been a big thing for him. Like a big thing. Like a big thing such as he would try to kill me instead of paying child support, because I got 4 kids by that man. So I opted to get out because he said that they weren't his kids. So I said, well, you know what? Since he said they're not his kids, I'm going to opt out. And he didn't want to, for my safety, I said, okay, I'll just leave the relationship. And I won't even take child support. So I left the relationship. I didn't even take child support because he said they weren't his kids. A lot of men, right, if you pay attention and watch, pay attention to the news. Watch viral crimes on YouTube. If you pay attention to the news too, social media, so many women are being killed, not just black women. Initially, when this started, like let's say the beginning of this year, They were telling me, oh, with the power you have, you can't be by yourself. You have to take a king. So apparently the way the Masons set this up in the end of times, they knew that the birthright will be restored. I'm thinking that the birthright is to the women. For some reason, a lot of the men have lost their souls. So they don't have control over their souls. And my children are considered karmic children because I was in a karmic relationship. So Isis Wisdom talks a lot about this too. She talks a lot about this. So she has a video that I'm going to drop the link to as well. And she talks about how they're doing soul walk-ins. Because when I met this guy, he was like, oh, he would not leave me alone. And so I left him. When he kissed me, I walked off from him and went in my room, into my hotel room, because things were so weird. It was stuff I had not ever experienced in my entire life. So I left him and went into my hotel room. He was beating at the door, kept knocking at the door. And so then I called him on the phone, and then I was talking to him on the phone, like to get him to get away from my hotel room. And because in my mind, I was thinking, like, what if my kid's dad come back to the room, even though he said he was going to stay the night. My kid's dad was acting funny too. That was the first night he ever paid for a hotel room for me. Most of the time when I always paid for the hotel room when I came up 2 hours away for him to see the kids on the weekend. If he didn't come to where I was, I would come to where he was. And something was going on weird between him and my mom. I didn't trust my mom either. So I didn't want to stay at her house. So I stayed at a hotel. And I worked. I had money. So I paid for the hotel for those couple of days. And I took it like it would be a vacation. For me, it would be a staycation. But he got to see his kids. So I say this to say, when I talked to him on the phone, he started sounding like my kid's father. And I was like, why does he sound like him? I'm like, there's something weird going on. I was in my right mind. 100%. Okay. Yeah, come on. And so what they do is, as you can see, it's 5:45 in the morning. They wake my kid. They have the ability to, like, they'll wake my kids up in the middle of the night. My sons do not wake up. Both of my two youngest sons just woke up to come inside the room. And they don't do that. Like, they don't wake up at this time of the morning. Now when school's out, the kids want to sleep in. So now, that's what they do. But today, I'm not going to let it stop. So I'm not going to let that stop my video. Normally, I would press stop. I was just about to hit stop, and something said, no, don't hit stop. Keep going. So I'm saying this to say, just like I've said, the Bible is written by the Masons. They had this whole thing orchestrated. They told us what they were going to do before it even happened. And last year, someone tried to kill me on the side of the road. I was on the side of the road for days. That was when they first tapped into my mind and had me confused. They told me to go to the airport and leave here. I was too powerful to be on grid. You had to get off of the grid. You cannot be on the grid. It's too hot. You're making the grid too hot. And I'm like, you have firepower. Then they said, oh no, we need your healing hands. And so this guy, the one that I met, I kept continuing to talk to him after that night. Well, he told me to call him. I did not talk to him for maybe months. So when something kept telling me, call him, call him, call him. And so it was like it was either a mediator or he had some type of telepathic communication to me subconsciously, because something kept telling me to call him. So I called him. And then when I finally did call him, I ended up seeing him again, talking to him, had a brief encounter. And then he would always like be passionate instantly. And then it would like be a disconnect afterwards with him. And I would end up, he would act weird. He would start off a conversation and then it would be like kind of like his mind was somewhere else. Like someone else was leading him. Like he was not being divinely guided. I'm going to say that. He was like his soul was being controlled. And if you watch Puppet and Puppet Master, he was like a puppet and like there was a puppet master. This video is for women, and so many women, when they watch this video, it's going to resonate with them, especially with the right ones. Ladies, make sure you do not I don't like to try to tell other people to control themselves, or I like for you to control yourself, but I'm not trying to control you. But trust me when I'm saying to you, try to keep it to yourself. Do not give it away. No matter what they do, try your best to keep your power. Keep it to yourself. Because that thing is powerful. Very powerful. And they'll call out your entire soul from you if you mess around with the wrong man. You will be out here like Maya Campbell. That woman was so beautiful, but I believe she got with the wrong man, and that's what happened to her. So many other women, and then they're put into that trap. And then some of them, they have to get on their side. And I believe the Illuminati is involved too. So I believe it's something with the secret societies, the Illuminati and the Freemasons, some way, somehow they have come together. I'm not quite sure. But what I'm basically saying is, if you mess around with the wrong man, these men, whether you choose to believe in Satan or Lucifer or not, I am telling you that thing must be real, because these men will sell their souls and their behind holes for some money. About their money and their stability, and they get to be single and deliver D, because he traveled. He drove trucks. And I used to always tell him, you be around here delivering D. That's what I used to say to him. And he used to be like, yeah, and I'm about to deliver you some. And I used to be like, I don't want it. Because for me, it was a brief encounter that wasn't worth it. It wasn't really worth it at all. Women, you are more superior. You are more powerful than them. You will attract the right man to you. Not all of these men are like this. My mama said all of them are the same. And at a point in my life, I used to think that men were all cheaters or beaters. One of the two, period. They were either a cheater or a beater. And I had a girlfriend of mine, she used to say, what if you mess around and catch both? I said, well, dang, you be messed up. Because if he is not a cheater, if you mess around and cheat, he might beat you. Ladies, stay safe. I love you. You are beautiful. You can do anything you put your mind to. Your heart leads first, but discern and guard it. Do not give anyone your heart without them earning it. You are powerful. You are worthy. Be careful with these men, especially when they come around you with all that gold. When you see all that gold, you gonna know what they love more. Their money, their power. That money and that power is more important to them. They already have the knowledge. They already sold their souls for the end of times. So what they're supposed to do is take out a lot of the women that are more powerful and superior and get their power. That's what they're supposed to do. And apparently that's what he is supposed to do. He was supposed to kill me. That particular night, he was getting ready to choke me. He was standing behind me, and he had his hand around my throat. And I said, I felt uncomfortable. Like, why would you have your hand? Like, he was just passionate, and then he was like kissing me, and then all of a sudden he was just like rubbing and touching, and then all of a sudden he was standing behind me in the chair, and then he had his hand around my throat as if he was gonna kill me. And he connected with my mind, because in my mind I said, he gonna think twice about it too, because he gonna have to go first before I do. And I meant that. And I said the exact words was, he better think twice. Because I knew I was divinely protected. God don't play by me. So anybody trying to take me out, they gonna leave here first. And if you fooling around with me, the whole Illuminati, the whole Freemasons, the whole Masons, all of y'all will drop like flies and die before I do. Y'all be blessed out there, ladies. Stay safe.